Now today, I have a message for you guys. So, I was talking to a resident some time ago. She was asking me if I'm not tired. I said to her, yes, I'm tired, but I have to do what I have to do because I told her that I am coming from my other job. She said, you're coming from your other job? And then she said, how long have you been at work? I said, I've been at work from 6:30. So she said, but it is like 7 o'clock. No, you're not tired. I said, yes. And she said to me that just be careful what you're doing because sometimes you work so hard. You might achieve your goal and you might achieve what you set out to do, but at the end of the day, it is not worth it. So I asked her why she said that. She said, because look at me. I am here laying on my back. I can't help myself. I can't walk. And I spend all my years working, send my children to school, to pay my bills, to buy a nice house, to drive a nice car, and look where I end up. She said, my regret is I never get to enjoy myself. I did not enjoy myself. It was all about working. She said I would go to work 7 to 7, 7 to 11. And then sometimes she said she work 11 to 7, 7 to 3. She said sometimes I'm so tired, but I keep pushing because I want my children to go to good school. I want to have the quality of life. But she said one thing that I realized, I work so hard, but I could not enjoy the fruit of my labor. She said, I got the nice house and I got the car, but I was at work more than I was at home. She said, sometimes I don't even sleep in my bed because as soon as I want someone to work, I pick up that shift. Her kids go to good school, go to good college, and now our children are adults. And she said, when she became sick and she could not walk, she said she thought one of them would take her in. That's what she said. She said, I thought one of them would have taken me in. That's what she told me. I said, really? She said, yes. She said, I know the mentality of we American is when you work, you go straight to a nursing home or a facility. But that wasn't me. I thought because I invested in my kids, they would in turn take care of me. People me a laugh within myself, because then the days are done when you can think children is an investment. Children are no investment again. Me soon come back to that. So she said she thought one of her children would take her in. I don't remember how much children she has. They have big houses, big cars. She said her children, they go away all the time for vacation. She started crying. I said, why are you crying? Don't, man, don't cry, man. I'm here, don't cry. She said, no. She said, I'm just looking back and I'm thinking. She said, Sharon, I cry every night and I go to my bed. And I remember how hard I used to work. And I remember when I promised myself I was doing this for my kids. And one day my kids would take care of me. She said sometimes our co-workers, they talk to her and they said to her, he's done from the job, man. He's done. She said, I have to do it when my children has to go to good school. And she said one lady said to her, don't bet on that. She said, no, my children not going to do that to me. I know they will take care of me. She said, and look at that. I'm hearing the lady's voice in my head almost every night because I thought my kids would have taken care of me. She said they call as much as they can, but one more than other. Call. She said, I had a big house. My husband died. And for me to come here, I had to sell my house. And look at me in this little space. That's what she said. Look at me in this little space. From this to this. That's what she said. She was lying on her back and she was talking to me. She said, from this to this, in this little space. That's what I get from all these years that I have worked in my life. She said to me one day she was She was so tired. She was driving from work in the morning. She said it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. She said she was so tired and she drove. She said she didn't even realize where she was going. It was when she reached the home, opening the door, she realized the door was not opening. And she said, why my key not working? And she said she tried it like for 5 minutes. And then when the door eventually opened, she saw her father. The father said, what you doing here? She said, don't I live here? But she didn't recognize it was her father. And then the father called her name. And she said, oh, Daddy, what am I doing here? He said, you were trying to open the door. He said to her, come in, come in. So the father called the husband and said, she's not coming home. She's going to stay here because I realize that she's tired. The father said, go lay in your room. You know your room is still there. Go in your room. And she said she slept until 5 o'clock that evening. That's how tired she was. She said her parents did not wake her up. She was so tired. She said from that she don't do no more double at all. She promised herself that is it. She said, I work so hard and I thought my children would take care of me. But she said, I did not save anything. I did not save any money. I had nothing saved for retirement. I poured everything in my children's education. I helped them with everything, and now look at me. People, she has so much remorse, so much remorse. I felt it for her. She said, I was not sensible when I was doing this. She said, I'm telling you, and anybody that you can tell, don't bank on your children. Do what you can for them, but don't sacrifice yourself for your children's needs. She said, you bring them into this world, yes, but there's so much you're supposed to do and no more. She said you brought them to the primary stage. You helped them through college. Cut it off. They must can help themselves. I did not stop there. I went too far. And this is where I end up. She said I thought they would think of what I did for them and the sacrifice I had made. But they did not. And I can't blame them, you know, because it was me. Nobody forced me to do what I did. But I did it because they were my children. She said, don't do that. Sharon, save, do what you can for your kid, but you know where to draw the line. That's what she said to me. Know where to draw the line. Make sure you have something for retirement. Make sure you have somewhere to lay your head. Make sure you make provision that, you know, that even if you're going to a home, it's somewhere nice. It's somewhere where you can feel comfortable and call home. That's what she said to me. She said, right now I have the bare minimum just to survive, just to keep me until I pass. I'm just surviving. That's what she said. She said, Sharon, I'm just surviving. I'm surviving on the little much that I have. The little much that I have. Oh, Jesus, people, when she said that, I look back and I said, children are an investment again. No, we bring them here, we do what we can for them, and we send them to good school. And that's it. You have to take care of yourself. You cannot work so hard that you don't remember yourself. You cannot work so hard that you don't check about your health. You gotta think about retirement. You gotta think about saving. You can't work too hard. That when you're drinking, I made this example already, and I'm saying that's when you're putting up your hand to your mouth, the water drop out of the cup before it reach it. You got to know your body strength. You got to know your body limit. You're doing double over and over and over and over, triple over and over and over. Because when I say triple, you do double at one job, then you leave and go to another job. We have to pull back at some point. Because in this country, you work. By the time you stop working to enjoy the comfort, you're sick. You can't enjoy it. So, we got to know when to pull back. You know, people, we got to know when to pull back. But I wanted to tell you this because she asked me to tell people that I know. She said, I'm telling you this, and for you to pass it on to others. You know, work, but not work so hard that you drain your body where you can't enjoy. your fruit of your labor. You can't enjoy your house or your car. You can't drive around. You can't take vacation. She said, don't do that, Sharon. I'm telling you, don't do that. I know you're a good caregiver and you deserve the best. That's what she said to me, you know. She said, you're a caring person and I love when you come here. But don't think too much of the bill that you cannot enjoy life. Yep, and I'm passing on the message. I'm not breaking any law by telling you this. I'm passing on the message. So people, if you're working too hard that you cannot enjoy life and you're making the bills take over, stop it. Scale back. Go back to the drawing board and see what you're doing wrong. Go back to the drawing board and see what can I do differently. Because this can't be life. You're killing yourself for what? For material things. And by the time you retire, you can't enjoy it. No. We got to do better. We got to do better. Okay, people? That's what I wanted to say to you today. Just to pass a message on. Okay, and remember, children are not investment. Not anymore. Not anymore. Children are not investment for old age. Not anymore. If you don't save for pension, if you don't save for old age, you can't dark. Okay? That's it. That's my little video for today. That's it from Shar in America. Please, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend about Shar in America. Take care until another video. Bye.